All right. Sorry about the delay. Oh my gosh, today has already been so eventful. Very New York thing. Very New York thing. I was on the regular train, leaving plenty of time to get into the office, and then the thing happened where it usually happens this way in New York. Someone comes on the announcer, says something to the tune of, and then all of a sudden you're at a stop that you've never heard of before. And I'm looking around at everybody else in this room thinking, like, if this were even 10, 20 years ago in New York, I've lived in New York for about 10 years. If it were 10 years ago in New York, everyone would have been like losing their minds. But now just everyone's on their cell phones and their headphones, and they're playing with their kids, and the kids are playing with the iPad, and nobody cares. Nobody cares if we end up in New Jersey. Like it's a very New York thing. Uh, but we love it. We love it. Yeah, we love living here. So I've got a message from David Kennedy, a friend of the show, who actually isn't here right now. But I'm so glad that people are supportive of this idea of me losing my mind on YouTube Live. Basically, what I wanted to do today was sort of just an experiment. I've never done this before. I've been live streaming a couple of times this week, but I've never done this specifically with my newsletter. I wanted to actually go into what I'm working on with my next newsletter, and talk through everything that I have so far. Talk through my doubts about where it's going, and if this interests you, then great. If not, it's helpful for me to at least have this time to just do it, like they say in the shoes. All right, so how are you doing? Nobody's watching. I'm talking to nobody, but maybe people in the future will be watching this, and I want to know how you're doing. Are you doing okay? Did you get into any train delays? Are you surviving somehow? We're all just doing the best that we can. Really, we are. Let me share my screen, as they say in the biz. So here's what I'm working on. Smells like 23. Get rid of this, whatever that is. I always start with an interesting sentence. I like to do that. But starting out with this first part, I just completed a big giant project at work, but I don't want to talk about that big giant project. I want to talk about another big giant project. Why am I doing this? Why am I starting this way? I have no idea. I think I do want to talk about the big giant project that I just finished at work, but I don't. That's like the essence of it. Is like the for me, it feels like there's so much to talk about with this project that just ended, that if I even start to talk about it, I can't find the thread. I can't even find the story. It just was so much. And so that leads me into talking about the thing that I want to, sort of the clincher of this whole essay, which is the Statue of Liberty. In the final weeks of working on this big giant project, I started just getting interested in the Statue of Liberty. And here's the story that I'm going to tell. So, the Statue of Liberty's real name is Liberty Enlightening the World. This is important for the same reason that John Bon Jovi's real name is John Francis Gosh, that subway ride really just did me in. All right, I'm going to start over. The Statue of Liberty's real name is Liberty Enlightening the World. This is important for the same reason that John Bon Jovi's real name is John Francis John Bon Jovi Jr. In forgetting the name of a work of art, we lose context in the work of art. We lose the meaning. And I think maybe I'm just thinking here, a joke would be fun. What is the meaning of John Bon Jovi? Or maybe I should be stronger and say, we must not lose the meaning of John Bon Jovi. Lately, it has seemed like the Statue of Liberty has lost its meaning. Oh, that's a typo. I love those. Lately, it seems like the Statue of Liberty has lost its meaning. And then I have these tweets here. I have to look this one up. Oh, no, this tweet from a racist politician, Nicholas Fondacaro, saying, but he's not the racist. It's Sonny Hostin decries Adams and his concerns about the legals swarming New York City, where she does not live. I thought this country with its big Statue of Liberty is supposed to be the country that accepts people. She also dismisses. So yeah, I don't think that Sonny Hostin is a racist, but this person clearly does. Maybe this person is a racist. I don't know. But the point I guess I'm trying to make here is that this tweet is invoking the name of the Statue of Liberty and the symbol of the Statue of Liberty for the purpose of showing that Mayor Adams and people like Sonny Hostin are racists or hypocrites. I guess that's what I'm trying to show here. I'm definitely threading the needle a bit, but that's interesting fodder for me. So then the next tweet I share is the Statue of Liberty poem, bringing has he not read the Statue of Liberty? Basically, this person, Bill Billigan, who is a national correspondent for Fox News, talking about the basically what Mayor Adams said recently about the illegal immigrants who were coming in and how it's going to destroy New York City and stuff. And quite a statement, but has he not read the Statue of Liberty? I think what Mary is saying is, has Mayor Adams not read the Statue of Liberty? But I also think it's just really funny, the idea that you can read the Statue of Liberty. Can you read it? I mean, you can, in the sense that there's a poem in the pedestal beneath it. Then lastly, there's this tweet. We're still calling them tweets, right? About, whoa, doesn't Eric Adams know that we're a nation of immigrants? And there's a poem, the Statue of Liberty, that says we must flood the country with illegals. I don't know that that's what the poem is saying, and that's kind of what I want to. Lovely and wokeness tweets here in connection. I don't want to. I think it's interesting. It's just what's interesting to me about this particular angle on the story is that a few years ago there was a similar outcry from the opposite side saying that liberals saying that when 2017 when Trump closed the borders to everybody and closed down all of the machinations to allow for Muslims to enter the country. We all remember when that happened, 2017. Liberals were invoking the Statue of Liberty with the same sort of verve of like, oh, well, don't they know? Aren't they hypocrites? And it's interesting to me that both sides, what we all agree on is that there's a hypocrisy that can be channeled through the Statue of Liberty being our symbol. And then I just have this, because I think it's funny, a clip from a Statue of Liberty.
No. Lucifer, the Statue of Liberty, has 7 points on its crown because he indulges in all the 7 sins of the world. And on top of that, it's holding a torch representing the light bearer, Lucifer.
Isn't it supposed to be representative of freedom?
But freedom of what?
I don't know.
Exactly. It's freedom from God.
Oh, interesting. Great. Yeah. So I think it's like the reading of freedom can be many different styles of things. All right. So we probably already knew that the statue was metal. I don't think that joke really works. And I'll have to find a metal rock out gif. I don't know, something, whatever. It was a dumb idea. I'll probably cut it. I'd like to go back to the poem referenced in the tweets. Emma Lazarus's The New Colossus, which currently exists as a plaque at the foot of the Statue of Liberty. A few things to note about this poem. It frequently gets invoked during times of immigration crisis. True. It's much longer than you think it is. It has a typo in it that skews the meaning. It might have Zionistic undertones. Maybe. It is complete and utter bullshit. It's strong words, but maybe I want to make that point. All right. It also strikes me that the poem was recently invoked by liberals. So this is where I go into it. So remember our last immigration crisis, 2017, when Trump froze immigration admission. A CNN White House reporter whose name rhymes with Slimagnosta asked about the hypocrisy of the poem in relation to Stephen Miller's press conference, provoking a howl round of op-eds in response to the poem. I need to flesh that out. That's just doesn't tell the story really well. Politico's Robert Suro said, in truth, for as long as the Statue of Liberty has stood in New York Harbor, the United States has had policies to block immigration by people considered too poor to make it on their own, or too sick, who are morally, politically, or socially unfit. Lazarus wrote poetry, not policy. I think I need to set that up a little bit more too. The Guardian asked a bunch of poets to rewrite the poem for Trump's America. The New York Times political briefing spoke to immigrant poets who participated in a whole fucking festival devoted to the Lazarus poem. Seriously, think about that. A whole fucking festival. It's crazy. The main point here is that in all of this response, the Lazarus poem gets treated as a poem and not what it truly is, a piece of marketing. The specific exchange between Acosta and Stephen Miller was this, as relayed by CNN. The Statue of Liberty says, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. It doesn't say anything about speaking English or being a computer programmer, Acosta said. Aren't you trying to change what it means to be an immigrant coming to this country if you're telling them that you have to speak English? Miller responded that as a requirement to be naturalized, you have to speak English, he continued. So the notion that speaking English wouldn't be a part of immigration systems would be very ahistorical. He went on, secondly, I don't want to get off into a whole thing about history here, but the Statue of Liberty is a symbol of American liberty lighting the world. A little nod to the name. The poem that you are referring to was added later and is not actually part of the original Statue of Liberty. I think that is, all right, sorry, I'm going to go back to what I'm writing here. No footnotes. Okay, this was some artful bullshit from Miller. While it's true the plaque of the poem was added later, the original text of the poem was written in cursive with a pen and ink by Lazarus for a fundraiser for a pedestal for the Statue of Liberty. Awkward sentence. So I would argue it was very much part of the original Statue of Liberty in that it, clarify there, in that it helped to raise money for the pedestal. But I just wondered this morning, actually. I don't know. Do I want to go off into a thing here about the pedestal? But why is there even a pedestal? Maybe this is something. That's something that I just started looking up too, which is kind of interesting, is the history of the pedestal. As a person obsessed with the relation between art and commerce, I find it very interesting that this poem has lived 3 separate lives. The poem published as a fundraising tool for the pedestal of the statue, the plaque erected on the pedestal. Wow, I really don't know how to spell that word. The plaque erected on the pedestal with an important typo, and the reappropriation of the poem's final stanza every time we have a national conversation about immigration. So let me tackle each one of these individually. Pause here. Yesterday, I entered this this essay as it is into my ChatGPT, and I'm trying to look for where it says I thought it was so interesting how it responded to it. I basically just wanted it to give me a summary, because that's one of the things that I think ChatGPT does pretty well. I can't find it here, but it was hilarious where it was like roasting me. Wait. No, I don't know. But actually, why don't I just do this live? Let's see. All right. There we go. New chat. Summarize this essay. Yeah, summarize this essay. And give me honest feedback. All right. So it'll say this essay is blah, 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 begins with the author's reflection of completing a significant project work, blah, 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 blah. John Bon Jovi's name. Yeah, central argument revolves around clarity and structure. The essay lacks a clear and concise structure, making it challenging for the reader to follow the author's arguments and points. It jumps between topics and references without a clear transition, making it feel disjointed. That's true. The essay presents a range of ideas and references, but doesn't effectively tie them together into a coherent narrative or argument. That's true. It would benefit from a more structured approach and clear thesis statement. Thesis statement. I guess I got to do that too. The use of informal language and profanity, such as complete and utter bullshit, may detract from the essay's professionalism and credibility. A more formal tone could enhance this essay's impact. Well, that part I'm not going to take. I can't. The whole reason I do this is so that I can say what I want. While the essay references tweets and images, it lacks substantial evidence or analysis to support its claims, particularly regarding the poem's significance in historical context. The central argument or thesis of the essay is somewhat unclear. It touches on various aspects of the Statue of Liberty in the poem, doesn't provide a strong, focused argument. The essay contains some grammatical errors and inconsistencies that could benefit from proofreading, editing, and clarity and readability. To improve this essay, the author should consider clarifying their main argument, providing more structured and coherent organization, and using more concrete evidence to support their claims. Additionally, adopting a more formal and professional tone may enhance the essay's effectiveness. All right, well, that's maybe true. Gosh, it hurts to be roasted by a robot. Roastbot? Has someone come up with that? The poem published as a fundraising tool for the pedestal of the statue. So I started writing this a little bit and wasn't sure where to go. Can you imagine a time when a poem would be sold at auction? But in fact, that's what it was. Joseph Pulitzer needed his money. But a couple questions here. Why did Pulitzer want to raise money to erect a pedestal statue? Why does the Statue of Liberty actually need a pedestal at all? And the answer to the first question, I suppose, is that Joseph Pulitzer was hungry for fortune, which he eventually found in the form of the prizes that I read about every year on NPR's Instagram. The answer to the second question is that they needed this statue to be fucking tall. Not to mention, it's possible, conceivably, and completely unverified fact that the fundraising effort was unsuccessful, and that the most successful fundraising effort was actually when Pulitzer sold tiny shares of the pedestal to tenement house inhabitants to erect the statue's pedestal. The typo I'm talking about is on the line of the poem, yeah, and then it kind of like breaks down here, and most everything else I have left here is like just notes about from a previous draft, talking about ambition, what that means, kind of making up a story about my job. Yeah, I mean, look, I agree with ChatGPT. I agree that this doesn't have a cohesive structure or anything. And that the professionalism, I don't know, I kind of like the idea of a non-professional essay. But I guess the goal is for me to have something that I could bring back here that would make sense for me to read and have me feel like it was not just a complete waste of people's time. So I don't know. Anyway, I only wanted to go live for about a half an hour this morning anyway. Thank you for being around for me. Just getting this idea off the ground that I had about reading an essay that I haven't finished yet and figuring out where all the problems are. And I figured out where a lot of the problems were. Yeah, this is great. Thanks everybody. And we'll do this again sometime. Blah, blah, blah. Bye.